Okay, so once you get your Spartan character binded with your joints, we can now start looking how the joints movements are influencing the character. So I'm going ahead and just grabbing the leg and just moving it around a little bit, see what's going on here. And as you can tell, the foot is being influenced by the leg joint, and obviously we don't want that. So the way we fix that is we go ahead and we want to paint out um, that area so the joint does not longer influence it anymore. So once you have your rigging tab open here and your skin tab open here, you want to go to paint skin weights. But before we do that, I thought I'd remind everyone that you're going to want to start naming your joints. And this is going to be a lot easier to locate and start working with painting the weights. Obviously, I named a lot of it. I still have a couple more I gotta do, but I named a lot of it so it can be easier. So if you guys, pause here, take a minute, start naming all your joints, then resume afterwards. But once you got naming the joints, now we can start painting the weights. So again, skin tab open here. Then you want to go to paint skin weights and click on the little box next to it. And now you start getting these tools open here. And you have like empty window. So what's going on, you're going to want to select your character. So once you select your character, now you have all your joints located here. And obviously having a name is going to be a huge help. So let's go ahead and start, just selecting one part of the character, like the leg here. You want to select it. While it's selected, you want to click on the either the skin paint weights, or it should come up here if you used it as the last tool. And now you got the joints that's influencing it. So you want to go to the leg joint here, and it's already mostly painted white. White means that's what's being influenced, and anything that's painted black is not being influenced. But since we're working with the character that's separate, like the model's not all connected like a regular human being, we're just going to focus on painting only the parts that matter. So we got this leg part, leg joint selected, then you want to go ahead and just flood it. So what that does is that now no joints will influence it except the leg joint here. So let's go ahead, select another part of the leg, and this one should be influenced by your knee joint. So let's go ahead and click your knee joint here and just go ahead and flood it. There you go. So now whenever you select your joint and start moving it, you're not influencing the top of the leg anymore. And don't worry about this, the foot being weird, we're going to get to it soon. So let's go ahead and select the foot here. All right, let's go and find the ankle joint that is influencing it, and let's go ahead and flood it. Let's go ahead now, select Q because that's what I'm using to get out of it, the tool, and select the foot. Let's go ahead and click on the paint tool, and let's notice how I don't have it named here. That's fine. You guys should have it named, but like I said, I just did it real quick. So you can tell that the ankle joint's influencing it, and the foot joints influence quite a bit of it. But to make sure, we're going to go ahead and just flood it. So now when we go back here, there is no influence anymore. It's painted black now because I'm flooding it white completely in the foot joint. So let's go ahead and try it out again. Let's try this joint out. So let's go ahead and move leg joint. Let's go ahead and bend it. Let's go ahead and bend the ankle part. And let's go ahead and bend the foot. Alright, see? So notice how nothing's now influencing it. But let's go ahead and try it with this leg here. So notice how when I'm moving it down, the other part of the foot's still being influenced from the ankle joint, and the painted version is not. So you're starting to see how important it is to start painting your weights. So let's go ahead and start the other leg so we can see how that one turns out. So I have it selected. Let's go ahead and find the top of the leg joint. Let's see here. Doesn't look like anything's not being influenced, so let's go ahead and flood it. Okay. Looks like it fixed it, whatever issues it was going on here. Let's go ahead and select the, I guess, the shin part of the leg. So nothing's being influenced there, so let's go ahead and flood it. And you might see some correction going on here. Let me go ahead and do all this. I must have done something here. Okay, well, let's go ahead and redo it again. I guess practice makes perfect. Let's go ahead and make sure everything's being influenced. So select the leg, make sure everything's good. Let's go ahead and press Q, select the shin again. Go through the knee joint, flood it. Let's go ahead and go to the foot, select the skin pain weights. Let's go ahead and go to the ankle joint. Let's go ahead and flood it white, so it's the only thing that's being influenced there. Press Q again. Go ahead and press the foot. Let's go ahead and paint skin weights again. Let's go ahead and find your foot joint. Let's go ahead and flood that white. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to go a little bit back. I made a little mistake, but don't worry. So now let's go ahead and start painting the other leg. So let's see. Shoot the right leg. Let's go ahead and paint that. Let's go ahead and press the Q so I can now select the other part of the leg. Alright, let's go ahead and flood it just to make sure. Press Q again. Now select the ankle part, or the part of the foot that's going to be influenced by the ankle. So let's go ahead and put skin weights. Let's go ahead and notice how it's. So another way you can see how it's not being influenced is that it's starting to gray here. So whenever you flood it, turn it all white again. If you're wondering how I'm making this red circle bigger or smaller, just hold the B and start dragging with your mouse. So let's go ahead and press Q again and select foot. So we're going to go ahead and see here. This should be named like foot joint when you guys rename it. So notice how it's not being completely influenced. Let's go ahead and flood it. So let's go ahead and do that test earlier, how we were moving the leg. And there you go. There is no longer being influence on this other leg here. So now I can move the legs properly. And just because this character is a little bit different as far as it being very separated, you gotta think a little bit different as far as painting weights. So for a character like this, I don't think you should worry too much on painting the balls joints of the actual character itself, because you might get some funky results. I think it's okay just for now not to mess with it too much, because it's being influenced on both different separate joints, so it kind of helps for now. So now notice here how, let's go ahead and select my leg joint. Notice how the rest of the body is being influenced from it. So we're just going to go ahead and just do the same thing. Let's go ahead and select this joint here, and this one's probably going to most likely be influenced by your base joint or your root joint, wherever you name like the start of the joint. So once you have it selected, go ahead and select here on your paint skin weights, and of course if you don't see it, go ahead and go up there and obviously find paint skin weights, find a little box so you can get this big window open. So again, it's not completely white, so we want to go ahead and flood it, and there we go. So let's go ahead, press Q so we can get out of that tool. Let's go ahead and select it, turn on rotate, and now whenever you turn it or rotate it, now it's not being influenced. And you see these other parts of the body being influenced with it, and you just go ahead and just continue the process, selecting those parts, selecting your tool, find the joint that you want it to be influenced by, and go ahead and, that's like for example here, this is part of the spine 1 joint. I'm just going to go ahead and flood it. Let's go ahead and select the other part, go into spine 2 or whatever you guys have it named as, go ahead and flood it, and now whenever we try to rotate, now it's not being influenced. So now we're starting to get a lot of the model being very clean. And let's go ahead and just, let's go ahead and test it. So notice how it's starting to appear a lot cleaner, and just getting a step closer to start rigging it, and there you go. So that's the power of skinning or painting the skin weights, and we're just getting a bit closer to rigging up this guy. So again, you guys are going to want to spend the time and do this to the rest of the model, and I hope you guys spend the time to really name these joints, because it's going to make your life a lot easier to locate certain parts and start just painting the skin weights. And of course, you want to make sure you save often, because Maya is prone to every now and then crash, and you really don't want to lose work. So safe bet when especially dealing with rigging, I don't know, maybe save it every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes, whatever you feel. So always make sure second nature, Command S or Control S, whatever you guys are working on, make sure you guys are always saving it. And if you're wondering how the character here, all the parts are all in one thing, I just simply selected it all, and I just hit Command G, or if you're in Windows, I believe it's Command, or it's Control G. It should just group it all together, just to keep things more cleaner on your outline here. But again, take the time, name your joints. It's going to help you a lot. And I'll see you on the next one.